Welcome to this video on changing the subject. Now this is a maths video, so we do not mean not doing maths. What we're going to do is change the value that we're looking for. So if we have x equals 2y, what we want to do is find out what y would be. So we want to try and find the value of y. What we're going to do is opposites. So at the moment, y is multiplied by 2. We need to get rid of that 2, and the easiest way to get rid of it would be to divide by 2. Now, very similar to when we were dealing with fractions, what you do to one side you must do to both sides. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and that would give me x divided by 2 equals 2y divided by 2, and that y will cancel out. Just like the normal fractions, and we end up with x over 2 equals y. Now everything we do in changing the subject we have to do to both sides, and the easiest way to remember it is that you're always doing the opposites. So here we had 2 multiplying the y, so we had to do the opposite. So we'd have dividing instead. So now to give you some more examples. If we have 3x plus y equals 27, to get y on its own, what I need to do is remove the 3x from this side. It's not multiplying the y this time, it's added on, so I can take it from both sides. So what I have is 3x minus 3x plus y equals 3x plus 27. Now this initial 3x minus 3x cancels itself out, just leaving me with the y equals 3x plus 27. The more you do of these, the less writing you need to do. You'll start recognising where you're vanishing from. So you'll be able to skip that step and just go straight to the y equals 3x plus 27. This bit where I'm writing it at the side is for illustrative purposes only. It's to show you what I've done and where I'm going with it. You don't need to do it, but if you're not confident, it's a good practice to be in. So let me just clear this off. Okay. So if we have something a little bit more familiar, if we have A equals LB, this should be a bit familiar to you as the area of a rectangle. So if you're trying to find the area of a rectangle, you need length times breadth. So LB. If you are given the area of your rectangle and the length, and you're to find the breadth, so we're looking to find B, we need to be able to rearrange this. So what we'd do is we'd have a look and we'd say, okay, the L is multiplying the B, so I need to divide by L. I'm going to divide by L, giving us A over L equals B. So far so good. All pretty logical. Right, I'm going to look at a different formula this time. The formula, well, I'll just take it another level. The formula for a triangle. Area is half the height times the breadth. Now if this time we're looking for the breadth again, we've got a little bit more we need to do. There's a couple of ways I could have written a half HB. I could have written it as HB over 2. It's exactly the same thing, but written like that makes it a little bit more obvious what to do first. What we've got happening to the B here is it's being multiplied by H, but it's also being divided by 2. And the first step I'm going to do is get rid of this 2 on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2, giving me 2A equals HB. Now the H is still multiplying our B. So I need to get rid of that, and to do that I will divide by H, giving me 2A over H equals B. Now as you get more confident with these, you start to see shortcuts. Here my 2 has gone straight across, so I could say changing side changes sign. So changing from this side being a divide by 2, it's gone to the other side to become a multiply by 2. So it always does the opposite function. And my H has gone from being a multiplier to a divider. So it changes side, changes sign. Okay. Now, that's us dealt with multiply and divide. I have briefly shown you a subtraction in one of them. If I had x equals 2y minus 3w, and I'm wanting to find w, then what I need to do is get the w on its own, and I'd prefer to have it as a positive, so I'm going to take it from this side where it's negative to the other side where it's going to be positive. So I'm going to add 3w to both sides. That gives me 3w plus x equals 2y. Now I need to get rid of this x. So I'm going to take it away from both sides, giving me 3w equals 2y minus x. My next step, I have the multiplier here on the w. So that's 3 times w. I need to divide both sides by 3, giving me w equals 2y minus x all over 3. Now you can put these in brackets if you want to. Right. And let's take this up another notch. So far we've dealt with multiply, divide, add and subtract. How about we look at squares? So if we have x squared equals 9y, and we're wanting x on its own, what we would do would be the opposite, the inverse of x squared, which would be the square root of x. So the square root of x squared is x, but again you must do the same to both sides. So you square root your 9y. If you remember from the lesson on surds, the square root of 9 is 3. So we then get 3 square root y. Similarly, if we had x equals the square root of 27 over rs, and we're looking for r, there's a few things you need to remember. The first thing would be this whole side is square rooted, so we need to square it to get rid of that, which gives us x squared equals 27 over rs. And what we want to do is get this r up. So here, if we multiply both sides by r, we can get the r into a positive numerator. So we're going to times by r. We get r x squared equals 27 over s. And now we want to get this x squared out of our way. We need to divide both sides by x squared. So we get r equals 27 over s. Oh, that's not one, that's an 8 over s. And that x squared has gone from being a multiplier here to the divider on this side, so x squared. A common way that you're going to recognise these and come across these in the tests is in a formula. So if we have the formula for a volume of a sphere, volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. If you were given the volume and you were asked for the radius, which is what the r stands for, you need to be able to find out how to find the radius. So we're going to take it step by step. First of all, the 3 is dividing, so we want to get rid of that first of all. So we want to multiply both sides by 3, giving us 3v equals 4 pi r cubed. The next step is we have a multiplier here on our r. We have a multiplier of 4 pi. So that goes to the other side as a divider, giving us 3v over 4 pi equals r cubed. Now I'm going to write it the other way round. R cubed equals 3v over 4 pi. And we now need to get rid of our r cubed. For this, we need to do a cube root. So we're going to do r equals the cube root of 3v over 4 pi. This is one that does come up occasionally in exam style questions. They expect you to be able to get from this formula to this one in just one point of the question. We'll be doing more on changing the subject as we progress through the course. In the meantime, have a go at the questions in the workbook, and if you have any problems, message me.